Hello everybody, it's Larry and welcome to today's video. Well, we've all gone to Ancestry at some point and done a search, but do you really know how to get the maximum value out of searching on Ancestry? So here we go. So you click on the search and you have the options of picking just these collections. I either do all collections or just click on search again, and that kind of defaults to all. And you can see right here, it defaults by clicking the historical records, stories, family trees, photos, and maps, basically everything. But that's not where the real power of the search is. So let's start with Clarence Brown. He's my grandfather there, Clarence Edmund Brown, and it does the autocomplete. So if you have him in your tree, you get all this additional data. Now what this does is it's going to let you edit your searches and pick which one of these pieces of information you really want to hone in on. Well, I know he died in Chickasha, Oklahoma in 1961. So if I'm really wanting to find information about his death records, things about him in Chickasha or in Oklahoma, I might click the ones that are specific to Oklahoma, about him to Greer and maybe him in Chickasha. So I can add the year if I really want the death. This is just one way to look at it. So let's take this off for a second, because I'm going to show you a way to do this that you probably didn't know about before. So I'm going to click on search, and it, of course, comes up with the search results. And look at all of these. I mean, there's no way we're going to go through all of these and find out how many are really him. So I look, Clarence Edmund Brown, Clarence Brown. Now there's Clarence G. Brown in the 1930 census. Well, that's not my Clarence Brown. Right here, Clarence Brown, 1910, that is him. A lot of these are him, but then as I scroll down a little bit, I start getting some that are not him. Okay, Clarence A. Brown, Clarence A. Brown, Clarence W. Brown, and I may be getting areas I don't know. If you look here at the search, now what I've done most often is I just come in here and I would click exactly what I want here. What you're going to use is these sliders. See, I've already moved this over to be exact or sounds like. If I move this over, exact and similar, or exact. So now I'm not getting any names in this next search. There's 1.2 million in the results. Now it's down to 1.1 million. Okay, so I filtered it out some. Now I want to get, this is a broad Clarence Edmund, exact sounds like similar, exact sounds like similar, exact and similar. So I'm going to update my search once again, and it's going to refine that search even more. Now look what it's done. It's removed over 100,000 search results because it was giving me similar names. Now if you're looking for any records at all on somebody, the broader search by moving the slider to the left is what you want. But if you have that person now in your tree and you're wanting to really hone in on the documents for that person, moving the slider to the right will give you stronger and stronger results. You're weeding out the rest. So now I've got 120 results from this one. Let's say that I only want stuff about him that pertains to Chickasha, Oklahoma, where he was at the point of his death. Now there's only 18 records that mentioned it. Find a grave, of course. Again, we're talking about, we want stuff about his death. And these are photos. It brings in the photos because the photos are of him, okay? And they have it, when they mark the photos, it's like got their location. So let's say state, we want anything in that state. So we'll see what we do. We go up from 18, and we're look at this, we went up to 26. So we found 8 more documents that pertain to him inside the state of Oklahoma. So moving this slider around can really change the value. And what's really good, when you click edit search, and let's say I click right here, I get exact, and I get 1, 2, 3 alternatives. Okay, when I come up here, I've got exact, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 alternatives. You've got an additional way. In fact, when I was working on one of my lines for James McFarland, I spent days and days and months and literally months and months looking for information for him for his family. And it wasn't until I accidentally moved this from broad to exact, sounds like, and similar that it weeded out all of the others. So let's go back to this original search that we had, which is only moving this one over, where we went back to 1.2 million. I could never find the information that I wanted on the person that I wanted. So when I accidentally moved the other names over one, okay, and then clicked update, boom, it changed everything. It really, because there wasn't a lot on James McFarland. Well, they didn't change a lot here on Clarence Edmund. So let's move it over another slider. 1.23. Let's see what it weeds out by just moving it one notch each time. All right, Ancestry is working kind of slow because I'm working faster. It thinks I'm a bot. Look at that. Took out 100,000 right there just by moving it over one notch. We're going to move it over one more notch. We're at 128,000 now. And let's see what it gives us after this, 126,000. So those two, exact and similar, and the exact, similar, and sounds like didn't really change much, but it did weed it out a little bit. And then of course, when I get to exact, it's going to go from 126,000 and it's going to go down to, come on Ancestry, waiting, 46,000. 46,000 is a lot, but it's a whole lot easier to go through and kind of cherry pick out of 46,000 than it is 1.2 million. And when you look right here, newspaper articles, okay, so I could actually edit the search and say, hey, I don't want newspaper articles, okay? I don't want the stories and publications, and take that out and eliminate that. And then what I'd be left with would be 2,000 family trees, 200 there, so about 2,600, 27, 28, about 2,900 results out of this 46,000. It would remove these 40,000. So there's a way to use your search. And again, if you're wanting to find information only about his death, only the stuff that has his death, that's a nice way of saying, hey, I really want trees only. But if you got other sources, find a graves, bring that in too. So only stuff that marks with his death, there was 18 as compared to what we had before. Okay, so move that over. Anything that's got him in, it's got him married, it's got him born. Let's see if anything has him born in 1896. So how is that different? Well, there was 18 documents that have his date of birth. All right, so let's say that things that have him living in Granite Greer, Oklahoma, because he was there for a period of time. Okay, we don't have anything that's there, so that's nice. So it doesn't match anything there. Let's see, anything that's got his marriage date. All right, we don't have any probably marriage certificates in there or specific to that name. So let's work with our sliders. Remember, if you change one slider, it affects the results that you're going to get with the other sliders. So we're going to do the Clarence Edmund Brown, we're going to do a marriage, 1918, but we're going to do it in such a way. Well, look at there, 1,360. So by moving the name from an exact Brown, even though it says Brown, I don't know why Ancestry didn't bring it up there, but there again, that's the reason that learning these sliders is so powerful to your searches. Because again, I searched for my James McFarland for months and months and months. And it wasn't until I started playing with every one of these sliders and these combination of sliders that I stumbled across the second record was a census that had him and the people that I knew to be in his family at the time, particularly his sister. It was just an accidental stumble upon by moving these sliders. So even though, Brown, this says Clarence Edmund Brown, if I move this over to Brown like this and do a search, my search results from 1360 go to 0, even though that person's name is Brown. And that's because right here, probably it says Clarence Edmund Brown, and it's trying to do the Clarence Edmund. But then again, what does it say? Clarence Edmund Brown. So it should have brought that up. Why it doesn't, I don't know. I hear Clarence Brown, Clarence E. Brown. So there's a point where moving this filter over is good, like exact and similar. Let's see what we get on this one. And again, I'm doing this with you in real time, 109. So this is actually good. By doing exact and similar, I get my Clarence Brown. There he was, married 1818, Granite Greer, Oklahoma. So I know this is the record. And I actually can get the record by doing this, simply by moving that slider around. So if you move it too far one way, too far the other, and yes, here's the James McFarland that I got stuck on. So after I found the stuff here for Dolly, I wasn't able to do it. So there you have it. That's a way to use search that you're probably not using. I would just come up here and edit and say, okay, I want stuff to here. And then I would search again, or I would want stuff to here and I would search again. But using these sliders, you don't have to do this pop-up. It's all right here, and you have an extra notch from broad to exact. You get 3 steps in between rather than just a couple of steps in between. So check this out. I pass it around to other people. This is going to help some people get past their brick walls. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Don't forget to click the bell notification so you're notified when the next one is shown. If this helped you, if you broke through a wall by moving the sliders around, check out the QR code above. Appreciate your support, and we will talk to you again soon.